I remember when I was 18 and I just became a Muslim, I was at an Islamic marriage, and the men were sitting together, and it was, I think, a Moroccan marriage. And there was a man with a very big belly sitting in front of me, and I do not accuse him because having a big belly can be due to sickness or just to eating too much. Anyway, he sat in front of me, and I just learned that it was from the sunnah not to fill your stomach with more than a third for food, a third for water or liquid, and a third for air, so that you find it easy to breathe and that you don't have to open up your buttons just to be able to breathe in a human way. So I was sitting there practicing the sunnah, and they brought chicken, and then they brought meat, and then they brought fish. And at a certain moment I said, Khalas, this is enough, I can't go on eating like this because I will explode. And that man, he said, eat. I said, I'm sorry, I can't. This is, my share. He said, eat. I said, it's the sunnah. Then this man took his belly in his both hands and shook his belly left and right. And he said, this is the sunnah. And I was in shock. You should know that I just became a Muslim, and I thought to find myself in the most beautiful, the midst of the most beautiful people with the most beautiful behavior at all times, and all of a sudden I had so many nightmares going on. So now he said, this is sunnah. So then I said, subhanAllah, what is it really? Until I found that in, for example, al-hadiyya al-ala'iyya, in the Hanafi fiqh, that eating more than a third is makruh, and eating your fill is haram. So I said, subhanAllah, this is something that I myself might not be putting into practice, and a lot of other Muslims. And then I read that this is the best way, even today, to stay healthy, and that is that our stomachs are never completely filled up with food and drink, because at the end we are just exhausted because we ate too much. So now the adab, or the etiquette of eating, is something that is very important, and I want to give you some keys to open some doors while you are eating. One is something we all know, right hand, saying Bismillah. I don't have to repeat this. The other thing is that it is preferable to eat out of one single plate, because now we start, to practice some other way of eating, because we are in the midst of another culture or other cultures, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the Messenger of Allah ﷺ taught us to eat out of one plate, because the barakah comes down in one plate, and we do not start taking things from the middle, but right in front of us. And we are not allowed to eat on the left or the right, or at the end of the plate that is right in front of us, unless there is something that we don't have right here, like a piece of meat or vegetables or whatever. If we are with 5 people and there are 6 dates, then if I want to take my second date, meaning that I will be the only one that eats 2 dates, then I'm going to ask permission. And in this way, it was also a sunnah that our Messenger of Allah ﷺ would put his thigh from his left leg against his stomach and sit on the ground, so that when something would be pushing against his stomach, he was sure that he would never overeat. And you can do this now. For example, you can't, I imagine that when you have a business dinner, that you can't just say, let us sit on the ground, so you're going to sit on the table, on a chair. So you can push the table against your stomach, not in that way that you're not able to speak and that you're in pain, but in a normal way. So that are some of the etiquettes of food. And I think it's very important also to know that if we eat with our hands, that we're going to eat with 3 fingers, not with 1, not with 2, not with 4, but we're going to eat with 3 fingers. And then at the end, I read in the Sunan of Ibn Majah, and it's a sound hadith, that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, if someone licks his plate until it's completely and entirely clean, that this plate will do istighfar for him, that this plate will ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to forgive that person. Bring this into practice with people that know that sunnah, and put it into practice themselves, not when you go to a 5-star restaurant with your employees or employers, because then this might be quite strange. Another thing that we are going to try to do is not to blow on the food to make it colder, because the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said that this is no good. So we are, when I was in Dubai, I saw a mother, and she took like the plate and put it right under the fan. Like, and I said, subhanAllah, what's the difference, blowing on it or putting it under a fan? Just wait until it's what? Until it's cold enough. And they say if you eat with your fingers, that which is too hot for your fingertips is too hot for your stomach and too hot for your tongue. So the moment you can touch it with your fingers without being in pain, that's the moment that food is ready for you to be served in your mouth. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this beneficial. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.